So, Navy midshipmen's football season is done. So, we're going to review it. They went 10 wins this season, 10-3. This is only the sixth time that they have gone 10-3. The other times they did it: 1905, 10-1-1, 2004, 10-2, 2009, 10-4, 2015, 11-2, and 2019, 11-2. Think about that. That is a rarity. They had two ranked wins. They beat Memphis, who was ranked earlier this year, and they beat Army. And they did a really good job this year. They've been named, they've got several first team All AAC, American Conference: Landon Robinson, Colin Ramos, and Rayoon Lane III. So let's get into this team this year.
This is Paul for Redneck Sports. I believe that everybody should win in life, or at least attempt to. The first three maxims of General Robert Neyland's game maxims, I believe, apply to everybody. The team that makes the fewest mistakes will win. Play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. If at first the game or the breaks go against you, don't let up. Put on more steam. Welcome to the channel. Now let's discuss some sports.
We're going to first cover this game that they just had versus Oklahoma. Navy beat them 20-21 because they were able to hold off a 2-point conversion. They barely had any win probability going into the game, but Oklahoma wasn't playing their best game, which may cause Brent Venables to get fired. But Blake Horvath, 7 of 12, 92 yards passing. He rushed 18 carries, had 2 touchdowns, and rushed for 155 yards. Receiving yards, Nathan Kent, who I think is an amazing player, had 1 reception for 32 yards. This was a great effort by the midshipmen. This was not one of those situations where they thought, or that anybody thought, that this would happen. Third down efficiency. Oklahoma was 11 of 19, and Navy was 4 of 13. Who would have thought that one? Seriously, think about that for a second. Who would have thought that if Oklahoma would have been able to do 11 of 19 third down conversions to first downs, and Navy was only able to do 4 of 13, that this would be a win for Navy? But they were efficient. Total yards: Oklahoma 433, Navy 318. Passing: 275 yards for Oklahoma, 92 for Navy. Completion attempts: 29 of 44, 7 of 13 for Navy. Rushing, but here's where the difference is: Oklahoma had 158 yards rushing, Navy had 226. Both had 40 attempts at rushing, and Navy averaged 5.7, where Oklahoma had 4 yards. Penalties: Oklahoma had 7, Navy had 4. Turnovers: Oklahoma had 1. They lost a fumble. And Navy controlled the clock. They had it 30 minutes and 10 seconds, whereas Oklahoma had it 29 minutes and 50 seconds. This was a game that was disciplined, and a service academy, especially Navy, is going to win a tight, disciplined game, and they did. Let's look at the players overall for the entire year. Passing yards. Blake Horvath only had 1,353 passing yards this year, but he knew when, he was smart enough to know when to apply that correctly. Blake Horvath was the leading rusher, 1,254 yards. Receiving yards, Eli Heidenreich, who I've been speaking highly of all year, 671 of those passing yards was his. Tackles, Colin Ramos, the linebacker, had 129 tackles. Deshaun Peel, a cornerback, had 5 interceptions. Now, rushing, Teska was number 2. Here, let's go into touchdowns. Blake Horvath had 17 touchdowns. Teska had 8. Eli Heidenreich had 3. These are all rushing touchdowns. Daba Fafana, a fullback, had 2. Brandon Chapman had 3. Braxton Woodson 3. Shane Reynolds 1. Nathan Kent, wide receiver, had 1 rushing touchdown. Receiving, Eli Heidenreich had 6 receiving touchdowns. Brandon Chapman had 4. Alex Teska had 2. Nathan Kent had 2. And Cody Howard had 1. This was a spread out offense. This was a team based offense. And on top of the fact of, you had Colin Ramos had 3 sacks. He had 129 tackles. Kyle Jacob had 100 tackles. He had 1 sack. Raoul Lane the third had 70 tackles, no sacks. Luke Pyrus, 68 tackles, 2.5 sacks. Landon Robinson, 61 and 4. The defense was spread out. Just think about that. This is a nice spread out team. They were a team. Yes, Blake Horvath, who I think probably should have been in Heisman contention, showed out all year long. Alex Teska, though, a fullback, was doing amazing. Eli Heidenreich, a running back, was also doing amazing things as a receiver. Colin Ramos, Sean Peel, all of these players got out there and they showed what team sports were. And you saw it via the record. 10-3. Okay, I think they should have been able to beat Rice. They didn't. They had an off game. If Blake Horvath hadn't gone down and Braxton Woodson had to come in, I think they could have beaten Tulane. That was the games that we got. But still, Navy midshipmen were a total package, not a one-sided team. Oh, and if you don't mind, like, subscribe, comment. And I've got a link tree down below that's got my social media. And it has my Patreon if you want to help out. Thank y'all. So here's my take on Navy. Navy did amazing. And it was beyond the 10-3 record. Yes, they were considered third in the American. In my opinion, if it hadn't been that something just was not right after the Notre Dame game when they lost to Rice, a team that they should not have lost to. Rice, just, I don't know. I think it was more something went wrong with Navy than it was something went right with Rice. Nothing against Rice. They had a bad year. I think it was just something went wrong with Navy after that Notre Dame game. The Tulane loss, Blake Horvath went down, and Braxton Woodson wasn't ready to stand up. He needed that experience, and then you saw what he did against East Carolina. This is a team that I think deserves every accolade they get. I think they deserve to be considered one of the best teams out there this year. And I think they could have beaten more. They could have beaten some more Power 5 teams, well, Power 4 teams, if they'd had a chance. So, congratulations, Navy, on your year. And I hope to God that you were able to continue this next year. I think that you have just an amazing team with everything. I know you can't get all the massive players that others do, but this was one of those years where you were able to show what real team play is. And I'm glad that you were able to do it. So, congratulations, Navy. Let's go out next year and do it again. This has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Bye now.
Thank you for watching this video. I've had some fairly good success with all of my Redneck Sports stuff, and I hope you enjoyed the topic. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, all that rigmarole, and also just let me know what you want to hear about. I'll give a redneck spin to this stuff. Let me tell you, I love sports, so I love people that want to join me in that. This has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.